Guys, I'm going to introduce Uput Bayanda. He's a poultry farmer. He does eggs and broilers. I invited him because he's on a larger scale of farming, and due to what we were approached with by Moja Chicken, it raised a bit of questions. Some questions were unanswered, and a lot of concerns from poultry farmers. So we just wanted to discuss exactly how, obviously we can't have the exact number for everyone because we are all in different places and our feed is different. Okay, so but there's a roundabout number. Martin was supposed to join us. Unfortunately, he fell sick. He's quite sick. His voice is not audible, but he did send me something that I'll be reading to the group at a later stage. Okay, so I would just like Uput Bayanda to introduce himself and just tell us briefly about himself.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here, and thanks to everyone for joining. I'm so excited to be here, and I'm very much glad that we finally have such platforms in this day and age where we can all gather in one space and discuss such matters so that we can be able to assist one another. Basically, I'm a young farmer. I'm based in Mpumalanga. My farm is actually between Nigel, East Rand in the Gauteng, and in Mpumalanga, Balfour. But basically, the farm falls under Mpumalanga province. I do most of my work and my surroundings within Gauteng most of the time because it's closer for me and it's much busier. And that's where I have most of my clients. Primarily, I'm a layer farmer, egg producer, and I do a lot of broilers. I love them a lot. Um, I I actually manage about 78 hectares space. That's how small my farm is. So we're just trying our best to utilize every space that we can be able to utilize with also small stock and a bit of cattle. I'm very much motivated in being involved in assisting, especially young people, aspiring farmers to get the knowledge and the information out there. So I'm very much passionate in equipping other people with the little knowledge that I have. So I'm very much excited to be here. I'm doing quite a number of things. I'm also always training, attending trainings and all that. One of them is the Africa Agribusiness Qualifications Program, which I was actually honored to be part of the 20 young people that were selected in South Africa to train with Gibbs and Harper Adams in the UK. So that's a wonderful platform that I've been actually granted by the grace to actually be part of that. And we're learning so many things and we're actually advancing as young people within this sector. And I'm very much excited to continuously have these platforms where we can share and empower each other. So power to the people, power to the young people, and we are really happy, guys. Let's do this, and we will definitely succeed in what we are doing. We will not fail anymore. Some of us have been in the industry for 10 years. Some of us started with our parents. They grew old, and we are taking over. So, but we will not fail. So it's very much important for us to stay connected and be there to support one another, be there to, share information for one another and be able to, take over and really build legacies out of this. So all the best to everyone, and thank you very much for joining. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Um, Norma, I don't know if your speaker is here yet so that we can introduce him as well before we go ahead.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm not sure if you guys can hear me clearly. Can you guys hear me?
100% Norma.
Okay, perfect. So Ati said he's just having some network issues, and he should be able to join as soon as possible. And the guy from Moja, I am just texting him to no avail. He did tell me to notify him an hour before the space started. I did that. I'm just hoping that at some point he actually joins us. I have sent him a link to the space.
Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear
Yes,
me?
I can. Okay, I couldn't hear you there for a moment. Okay, I think
Yeah, same here.
by Black, who's is it Mngadisi Noma?
No, no, no. It's not
Okay,
Mncedisi.
guys. We're not opening the floor to questions or anything just yet. Can you just give us a chance, please, to actually, go with the space, give you the information that we called Bayanda to give you guys, and then we can open the floor for questions and requests, because like all these requests, I don't understand what's going on now. Um, okay. Abutito Hang, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, my dear sister. How are you
Well,
doing?
thank you. How are you?
I'm okay. Yes, thank you.
Okay. I don't know if you wanted to start, because okay, so the DM that I
Okay.
got is talking about how he was disputing the 40 rands. But as I mentioned already, that the 40 rands was your 40 rands. And I can't come argue with you and say no, it's not 40 rands for you to produce. It's 35 bucks when it's actually your 40 rands in your area, because feed is actually quite different. So I don't know if you wanted to start um with questions towards Bayanda so he can
Yes.
clarify certain things.
Yeah, actually, what I will do for now is just to give a story of what is generally happening with small scale farmers, because I am a small scale farmer myself. And okay, let me not forget to greet everyone before I start. So this is the situation. We get this, people understand that the next stage from being a small scale farmer is perhaps to become a so-called contract farmer, whereby you will get something like a guaranteed market, and then you will be increasing your numbers and so forth. And I'm grateful that I see my business partner and mentor is in the space, because she explained to me that as small scale farmers, you can't compete with large scale farmers on price. Now we have a problem. We have a group of over 400 small scale farmers. They want to go into contract farming. The price that is expected by the Shisanyamas and the contract people is not making sense, because and regardless of the fact that they insist that no, this chicken is a chicken of between 4 to 4.5 weeks, the price still doesn't make sense. So and then what happens is, you look at the requirements. They tell you they want a cleaned chicken, which automatically says that it needs to go to a registered abattoir, which whereby you're going to pay between 9 rands and 15 rands, depending on where you're taking your chickens. That's the first thing. And the second thing is, some of them, they want it to be delivered. Now, it seems as though um, some people have an idea that a chicken should cost 28 rands or something like less than 30 rands. We don't know where they get the price. And what we are saying is we're not ignorant people. We want to be taught how to also raise this chicken that costs 28 rand so that we can also make this money. Because it's not like we're saying, no, we don't want to do it. We want to do it. And hence the question rose to the chef who works at EPOL, who mentioned that a chicken is 28 rand, 15 rand, when I mentioned that my production cost is 40 rands, but he insists that no, it's 28, 15 rand. So 15 cent. We asked the questions and then he ended up agreeing. I suppose he went back to the drawing board and he came back and said, guys, I made a mistake. The cost that I spoke about was actually just the money to feed the chicken, because buying the chick itself, you're already looking at 9 rand 50. Processing the chicken itself, you're already looking at close to 10 rand. So you're sitting at 19 rand 50 before you even raise the chicken. It's not making sense how you're then going to be able to sell this chicken for 28 rand. And this is why we are here today, and this is why the broiler farmers are happy that we want to be educated, we want to understand. Look, we talk to what you call large scale farmers on a daily basis. They try to justify the price to us and say, no, if you go big, it's better. And I saw one of the other guys who's doing 45,000 chickens per cycle mentioned that a chick goes for 4 rand 50, whereas we buy it for 9 rand 50. But when you ask those guys that, okay, guys, connect us with whomever is selling this chick for 4 rand 50, you don't get a response, because generally we buy a chick between 9 rand 50 and there's people who are buying it for 12 rands. I just got the price from Peter Marisbeck today. It was a good price. It's at 7 rand 55 cent, but again, that's quite far for us. Still, it's not even anything closer to that 4 rand 50. So I think that the space today for most of us farmers will be for us to listen, to take our pens and papers and start taking notes as to how can this can we reach a level where we make sense of a chicken that is costing 28 rands and we want to sell that. Because I don't understand how one reaches to that level. Like I said, I'm a small scale farmer. We have about 2,000 chickens in our farm right now and 2,000 chicks. So we know the cost of feeding them is 40 rands. That includes the 9 rand 50 of buying the chick. That includes the money of feeding the chick. That includes the transport of collecting the feed. That includes the medication. That includes your what the salaries. That includes electricity, and also that actually that's also a high cost as well. We're talking here breeding and cooling as well. So there is a lot of questions from farmers today, which is why I believe that whoever is going to be sharing information, it will be more like a lecture. We'll be taking a lot of notes, and Osnoma, don't be surprised with those many requests. There's a lot of people who want to understand how can we produce this chicken for below. I don't know how much you would have produced it for to be able to sell it at 28 rands. So I can say a lot about this. There's a lot of large scale farmers I know. Right now, I'm like just outside one of them at Lucky's. The best price they can give you a chicken ad is 42 rands, and they're producing over 150,000 chickens per cycle. So yeah, that's that. Thank you very much.
Sorry, I'd like to just add quickly before Bayanda, before you take Abuti Tsohang's questions. So what I have done here, just to, and this is I guess like Abuti Bai Black actually said, please take out your, write down all the information, because I mean most of the stuff we're gonna discuss today is stuff that we get in our DMs. So what I've done is I've broken up the costs that I incur in my area, and this is just to overall give people a sense of direction, right? And I have got, feed is literally the highest cost of raising a chicken, and we know that. So I've got Nova, Maximizer, Afgri, and EPOL. And I was hoping that Martin would join us today, because I wanted to actually fully understand the EPOL chart because in my area, there's only 40 kg EPOL bags, and they're literally almost just as expensive as the 50 kg other brands. So for in my area, like Nova, for example, let's just run with Nova, right? Nova is 315 Rand for 50 kgs of starter, 325 Rand for grower, and 311 Rand for finisher, right? What I've done with the costing is I've broken it up, right? We've got feed, we've got medication, we've got wood chips, we've got the chicks, we've got labor, electricity, and transport, because it's very, very important, right? What kills a lot of businesses, and I think we all make this mistake, especially when we start. I too made the mistake, so don't think you're imperfect or you don't deserve to be an entrepreneur if you don't make mistakes. But is we need to calculate what true profit is in raising a broiler, or true cost, right? When I say true cost, I mean everything must be included. So if your feed store is 10 kilometers from where your farm is, you need to be able to calculate how much fuel, how many times you go and buy feed if you're not buying it all at once for the cycle. How much does it cost you to go and fetch the feed? Guys, it's very, very important, especially with broilers. There's so many numbers to add that we tend to get lost. And I guess that's why we are all here today, is we want to be able to actually know, like, what is really the price, right? And like Amanda said, it's very hard for me to say 55 Rand is the price that I will accept as a person, and someone else says 45 Rand, because areas, these prices vary per area. I've heard people in Limpopo are buying bags of feed for 380 Rand. Now that makes a big difference to me. That buys a bag of grower for 325 Rand. So please, guys, when we're calculating the cost, and we're going to get to the actual cost later, but I just wanted us to keep in mind that, the costing of it, or the cost of raising a broiler, includes medication, wood chips, even wood shavings, your petrol, the chicks, labor, electricity, which Tsogang actually already mentioned is very expensive, because if you're running those infrareds, trust me, Eskom is not going to be nice to you at the end of the month. And your transport, as well as how much it actually costs you. Your labor is also very important. So if you've got two guys on the farm that are looking after those chickens like I do, and you pay them, for example, 3,000 Rand each, you must know that for the cycle, you must know. In fact, it's not even for the cycle, because you pay people monthly. It's 6,000 Rand for labor. Do not exclude that. And now, wishy-washy, because I think we all just get lost in translation, or get lost in how much a broiler is supposed to cost. We get cornered by our customers. No, I want to pay X amount. Everyone wants to tell us how much they want to pay for chickens, but nobody wants to look at how much it actually costs to raise a chicken. And I guess that's why we're here. So I think that's all for now. Bayanda, please, I just wanted us to just highlight on, those costs. I would love to hear also on a commercial level, because I've heard the same story that you've heard, that every single one of us has heard, that, oh my God, we get chicks for 4 Rand, but where for 4 Rand? Oh yeah, we get 50% off for feed for buying in bulk. Go pull up. You call Nova right now and you say, okay, we're ready to buy, a link, 34 tons of feed. They're going to tell you about some 15%, maximum 20, even 20% you're reaching discount. So I guess that is why we're here, so that we can actually discuss scalability, but also discuss the cost of raising a chicken as a small scale farmer.
Wow, that's very powerful. And funny enough, I actually exactly the same information that I wanted to share with everyone. The most important thing, and I'm glad we actually, all of us, as you have mentioned, have done those mistakes where we don't calculate our petrol, we don't calculate collecting, we don't calculate delivering our chickens. We just excited that my chicken has grown, and especially when we start, my chicken is grown. It's 6 weeks, and we are all over social media, telling people how excited we are, and our chickens are ready. And you have not calculated how much it's going to cost you to actually deliver those chickens. You have not calculated how much it costed you to go and pick them up. And all those costs, they actually should determine how much your chicken should be. And I think we have gone through this so much that it even frustrates us because of how, you know, the market demands such low prices. And if you look at our counterparts and colleagues, guys, some people, they do not compromise on their business. This is a business. I'm running a business. This is how much it costs me to run this business, and this is how much I'm going to charge. And not that the market is not there. The market is there. So I think we need to, open up this conversation again next time, where we actually deal with this market thing, because we get so much frustrated because of these markets that wants a chicken for 28 rand. Why can't we find the markets that buy a chicken for 70 rand, 60 rand, or whatsoever? Because they are there. Our counterparts, our colleagues, our other colors, they will tell you that they sell one chicken, 1 kg for 70 rand, for 65 rand, and it differs from one place to another. But I know colleagues, I know people in my area that they sell the chicken that I sell for 65 rand for 90 rand. And they have markets, they don't struggle. So it's very much important what Noma just said, that we need to look at that, and we should not compromise on the market. If you can supply the big markets, go on, supply them. And I'm glad my brother, mentioned that he knows people that are at 100,000 capacity, and the lowest that they can go is what, 40, 42 rand. It only makes sense because it absolutely doesn't make sense. You have not raised your chicken at 28 rand. It's not even ready. So I think we need to, if we're going to have another space regarding this, we need this panel. We need to get hold of these people. If it means that we need to get hold of our counterparts, who are actually in that level and selling that, let them come and share with us. I'm hearing that my sister says it's very difficult to be connected, and my brother just shared. But yes, we need to. Slaughtering a chicken is expensive. Very expensive. So getting it clean, it's quite expensive, guys. You need to calculate that. I remember the first time when I started, I did not calculate that, and only to find that almost all of my profits that I had calculated are actually going to pay for the chickens. So as beautiful as it might seem, as successful as it might seem, if you do not calculate things properly and you do your market analysis, I think that's also important. As much as you're doing those calculations, where are you going to take your chicken? Do not start the business and say, no, you're just going to put it on Facebook or on Twitter and start selling. No, do your market analysis and make a decision when you start broilers that my market is this and this and this, so that you can fully understand if it's going to cost me 40 rand a chicken, my market is buying it at 80 rand, my market is buying it at 70 rand, my market is buying it at 65 rand. So I make 11 rand profit, or I make 20 rand profit. So do your market analysis and make a decision. Am I going to slaughter, or am I going to sell live? My live market is this and this and this. I made a decision that most of my chickens, I'm not going to slaughter them unless I have a proper market that can pay the money that I want. And you'd rather make a killing with your live market than your slaughter market. So you just have to make a decision, make your calculations, as Noma said, and make your market analysis. If you can't make it to Moja or whoever that wants slaughtered chicken, look around your area, look around your neighborhood and see who needs chicken, which I believe everyone needs a chicken, and begin to plan your things properly. Begin to do your market research properly and make a decision, which I'm starting this business because I already have a market. And the market is there. The market is vast, guys. We just have to go out there, because the same people that goes to whatever supermarket to buy the chicken are the same neighbors, are your same people that are in your area that take a taxi, they spend money, they put petrol to go to ShopRite that you want to supply to buy the chicken. Why don't you set up your freezers? Why don't you slaughter your chickens, put your chickens in the freezer and start doing your market? People, they buy not really on the price mostly, but most on what they see. When your chicken is 80 rand, the more the quality, the more the approach and how you show your marketing strategies, people can say it's expensive, but the more they see it, the more they see the success, the more they see the quality, the more they see the service, the more they actually start, considering it. And some of them, they might maybe sacrifice into trying your chicken. If you go to Spar, you can't negotiate it. If you want it, you have to buy it. If you go to Nando's, you can't negotiate the price. Because you want to eat Nando's, you're gonna buy it. So your marketing analysis and your marketing strategy, who are you selling to and how you are, packaging your product, plays a huge role on how much you can sell your product. So as long as you know how much you have spent, and you know how much you want to sell and who you're gonna sell to, I'm telling you, you're gonna sell that chicken and you're gonna make your money. So I'm just saying this in passing, that let us not frustrate ourselves in markets that as small scale farmers we cannot be able to meet. There is a market that we can meet that is hungry, that they want chicken and they can be able to afford the chicken. But I'm very much interested, guys, in us going deeper into this conversation, getting to get hold of these people who can actually help us, to get this market and to get these good prices. I mean, even if you buy the chicken 4 rand, that's probably 5 rand cheaper from what we raise. If I'm raising a chicken 40 rand, then it's 35 rand less that I'm raising a chicken. Still, I can't afford 28 rand chicken. So if I'm getting the chicken cheaper and the feed price is still the same, from 40 rand minus 5 rand, still my chicken is 35 rand to raise. So where am I going to sell the 28 rand chicken? If I'm selling 65 rand, then probably I'll sell my chicken 60 rand. So that's how far I can go. So so we need to get there, and if we can get there, great, guys. Let's do it. Let's partner. Let's grow. Let's get our numbers bigger. But if we can't get there, let's open up our markets. Our people are there. Our neighbors are there. Our townships are there, and see how we can, according to the place that you are, because your feed is different. Your chickens you buy is different. Your medication is different prices. The kinds of medications are different. And we need to also look at those costs, because a lot of people, some of them, they start this and they don't follow a vaccination program, which adds to your costs. And they end up having problems and DMing us and putting up on Facebook that my chicken is doing this, my chicken is doing that. Why? Because they saw that the alu is good from other people, and this is good, and this plant is good, and they don't really follow. So as much as Noma has said, let us follow, doing our costs, but let's follow also the programs on raising the chicken, which actually adds to our cost. Follow your vaccination program so that you can fully understand the business. But if you chop and change and miss other things, then one way or the other, you're compromising your business, and definitely it will compromise the price, and it will compromise your profit, and you won't have a good, turnaround at the end of the day. So there's so much, guys, to discuss regarding this matter, and I'm very much excited that we are here and to hear more from others, and have more questions and see how we can answer where we can. But guys, that's what I can say for now, and I hope I'm actually making sense with everything that I've actually brought up. Thank you very much.
Yes, it is very sad that us as farmers are actually told how much our produce should cost when we're the ones that actually know how much it costs us to actually produce it. So everywhere we go, even on the internet, you will find that they say, this week, beef is this much per kilogram, chickens are this much per kilogram, but we're the ones that produced it, but instead we're told how to price them. I actually have a small hatchery. Unfortunately, I don't have fertile eggs, so I still have to buy fertile eggs. Uh, a box of fertile eggs is about 1,250, which has 360 eggs inside, with a fertility rate of between 61 and 75%. Then from that, you would find that, okay, so in November, when eggs were not that great, I still managed to get 72% of fertile eggs, which wasn't bad. So out of 360 eggs, I would get about, hey guys, 72%, somewhere there. But still, in the 72% of fertile eggs, you still have hatch rate. So you are still probably going to get 60% hatch rate, 80% if you're lucky. So you're still not going to save as much. 1,250, you chuck away maybe about 100 eggs. So you left with 260. And then in that 260, you still have to calculate the fertility rate. Maybe you end up hatching maybe 160 from the 260, and then the other 100 doesn't hatch. You still spent on that box 1,250. How much is per chick from that? So I actually screenshot a couple of responses from Moja Chicken that when he was responding to people. Number one, guys, just as a side note, can we try to at least respect our businesses when we are on the timeline? Don't respond to people as though they're actually children that don't know what they're talking about. That's one thing that I didn't like from Moja Chicken. I was really hoping that he was going to be in the space. He said, and I quote, we are sure that it is possible to produce a chicken under 20 rands. I was so shocked, guys. I did not know how he got to those numbers. And I mean, as a black person who came into the space of working with food, meaning he's working closely with farmers, I would honestly expect that he would respect us. Like in other countries, farmers are actually treated like royalty. Never mind SA, people actually do not see us. It's very sad. It's unfortunate, but um but really and honestly, it was very disappointing that he spoke to us the way that he did, and to an extent whereby he actually ended up going to block certain people because they called him out on his bullshit. Sorry, excuse my French. um so I really wanted him in the space so that he can tell us how exactly he got to 20 rands per chicken. And for a chicken to weigh 1.1 to 1.2 kilograms, it needs to get to 4 weeks. And so I said to him, I've actually supplied OK Grocer with chicken at 31 Rand 50 per kilogram, not per chicken. So 31 Rand 50 times 1.1 kilograms is actually more than that 31 Rand 50. I don't know. I think people actually don't know their calculations. But basically, guys, because I saw people clapping and saying "Phakama muntu omnyama" and all of that, it just showed that a lot of people actually do not know what they are selling, and they don't know the costs that are involved in actually producing their products. Because if you know your cost, you won't be very happy with the fact that your chickens are getting to 7 weeks. Number one, your chickens are not supposed to get to 7 weeks, because the moment they get to 7 weeks, you have already passed your profit margin line. You are burning into your profits. And I've been saying this, it doesn't matter, even if you're selling your chicken at 80 rands, the moment it gets to 8 weeks, you've already lost the plot. So Bayanda said it's important to study your market. Know your market before you start. People have asked, no, I want to start poultry farming, I want to do broilers, but in the area, I don't know if there's only abantu makaya. And I would honestly just say, don't start if you don't have a market. Because yes, starting is the first point and the most important place to be at. But starting without a market, then broilers are like a business whereby you need to remain on your toes the whole time. The moment you place them, 6 weeks later, you need to know where they are going. The moment you don't understand, or you don't know where your broilers are gonna go, or they they sit more than 42 days in your chicken coop, then you can't even grow in that area. You need to remain 100, because if you can't sell 100 broilers, how are you going to sell 300? Who's going to buy them when that 100 is not going? So basically, guys, okay, I think before I continue or talk too much, I want to read what Martin sent to me in the DM in regards to what he said on the timeline. Okay. Okay. He says the 25 Rand 18 cents was based on feed only, not adding the additional cost. I assisted a farmer yesterday in Terport who came down to 33 Rand 58 cents all inclusive when calculating her cost. It's all about calculating cost per chicken in totality. Example, 1 Rand 20 cent housing all inclusive, 9 Rand 50 cost per chick, 8 cents labor, 21 Rand 10 cents feed, 25 cents medication, 28 cents firewood, 45 cents sawdust. She is renting houses for 12,000 rands and um okay, and it includes water and electricity. We based all this on chickens grown on top performing feed and ready to sell in 5 weeks. I was trying to make the point that we have to focus on data driven performance and keep track to the T, hence, we can't round it off to 40 rands to raise a chicken. Margins means everything in this game. The bigger commercial guys raise and slaughter earlier, but pay a premium to the high spec feed. So, in my view, it's somewhat an equal playing field. They just have volume, which has a bigger profit margin. You you save between 3 to 4 days of feeding on a higher spec diet, which won't make sense to use in open manual houses. And then he says, I'm open to join focus groups to assist farmers. They seem to ultimately switch them to EPOL as it comes with free technical assistance. I can see farmers in the immediate Gauteng area in the next 2 weeks and beyond. We're also looking for leading farmers who can potentially stock and distribute our feed to make the acquisition cost more affordable for the end user. If you are in Gauteng, then I could come visit your operation and then we take it from there. So, guys, that is his handle is Biggs underscore double M. All the farmers that are in Gauteng and are interested in distributing feed, I would love to be a part of that. Distributing EPOL feed, you guys can get in touch with Martin. Okay, Norma, you had your hand up.
Yeah, no, I wanted to actually say I'm very interested in distributing feed. I used to use EPOL. I can vouch for it. It's actually really, really, really good feed. But I switched from it because it just became so expensive for me. Because they've got 40 kg bags in my area. So I'm definitely going to be reaching out to Martin to find out if he can visit me and we can talk some more. Just an update, the guy from Moja, I see him coming online and offline on WhatsApp. So he does not want to join the space, guys. He doesn't have an intention to. I would have also been very interested to know how on earth how on earth he got to that 20 rand. And another thing is not to moshela bantu, mara they did say that they've got shortlisted farmers, and if you're in this space, please come and tell us what your secret is and how you can sell to these guys at that price. And this is not to hate or anything like that, but like Obutohang said, we also want to be able to do that. We also want to be able to reduce cost. So if you guys have got some magic wand that allows you guys to supply Moja chicken with chickens, where it's 26 rand or 30 rand, um, plus VAT, please come and tell us how you guys are doing it. And also another thing I wanted to just highlight, Amanda, just following on what you said, is that you know, the moment people see, hey, opportunity for black farmers or black businesses, you know, we all just jump, guys. I think this is something that we need to kind of curb as black people, that all that glitters is not gold. Just because it's glittering, it does not mean it's gold. You know, because I had a lot of people that were saying, no, you know, you're so stupid because scalability, this guy wants to take up to 20,000 chicks. 20,000 chicks per week or 20,000 chickens per week. And it's fine. The numbers are fantastic, guys. But remember, if you're going to supply him 5,000 chickens, you're going to spend to feed those 5,000 chickens. So again, I really would like to know, you know, just this is just a cry for help to those guys that are shortlisted by Moja Chicken to come and tell us how on earth you guys are able to supply these guys at that cost. Not to hate, not to feud, because you know sometimes I feel like as farmers we're so stern and so, like, you know, we're very skeptical people, especially when people come and say, but you know, you can do this at this amount. You're like, I'm doing it, but how are you doing it at that amount? You know, and then it comes off as, no, you're rude, you're this, you're that, you're that. But I'm just here to actually say that, you know, not everything is an opportunity, guys. And just because they say support, it's in support of black farmers or black businesses, it does not mean it's an opportunity. Scrutinize that thing before you jump and sign a contract. Let us not be exploited. Do not be exploited by anyone just for the sake of saying I supply Nando's. Go to the rank and sell your chickens one by one. Trust me, chicken is literally the most consumed meat in this country. I can tell you, I even myself as a chicken farmer eat chicken 3 times a week at least. And I can tell you there's some households that eat chicken almost every other day. So please, ningazositshela ngemarket. Ubud Bayanda is right. And the market analysis is very, very important. I sell my birds live simply because I cannot afford to take them to an abattoir and pay 9 rand because my customers, you know. So I specifically looked for a live market. Go and market your product. Go and market your chicken. It's chickens. It's not rocket science. You're not selling shoes where people can choose. Ke sana le teki, eleng sharpo, and I can, you know, last with that tacky for another month. This is food. It is chicken, and chicken is the most consumed meat in this country, guys. So please, Dabaya market is because some people are just lazy to just walk into kokasi, ubulelele batho, bulelele batho ba ba ko strateng. You know, the people on the street, speak to them and find out who's supplying their chicken. Try and beat the price by 50 cents or so, a rand or two. You know, business negotiation skills, guys. It's not that hard.
Um, there is a certain abattoir farm that actually does contract farming. They stopped now though because of the shortage of chicks. But they, before they can say we'll give you at we'll take your chicken at 26 rands per kilogram, they actually give you day old chicks. They would give you about 45,000 day old chicks, and then come after 6 weeks and take them from you at 26 rands per kilogram. So you would have saved that $10 of, because at some places actually they're buying day old chicks at 11 rands each, which is 1,100 for a box of 100. So yeah, as Norma said, let's not allow ourselves to be exploited because we're searching for market. Let's not be lazy and actually go out there to look for the market. But Bayanda had his hand up, and then after him, Buy Black can go, please. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I just wanted to support what Noma was saying. The market is vast. It is amazing how demanding chicken is. Not that we are actually discouraging people from getting to supply these guys. We all can want to do it, and if you can do it, you know, push on and let's do it. But like I've said earlier, and as Noma said, the market is crazy. People are looking for chicken everywhere. Everyone wants to sell chicken. So many people that are hawkers that are going everywhere around Gauteng and every other province, collecting chickens to go and sell to their villages, to go and sell to their townships. And you can be that supplier. That can be your huge market that you supply these guys. I mean, I've got people that come and collect chickens for 70 rand, you know, and they say it's fine. I know people who sell chicken for 90 rand in their townships, and they don't have chicken. It's like eggs, you know, it's on high demand. So before we want to go big, let's allow ourselves to start and to build our business, establish our business, and build the business. Some other people that take some of these unreasonable contracts are doing it because they just want the money to come in. But when you look at the whole expenditure and their cash flow, they're not really making that much of money. They are just doing it to survive. They're not building a business. They're not building an empire. I'm just saying some of them. Some of us, we are doing it not because we just want to survive and pay our monthly bills. And that's a big mistake that people do when they start this business, because I've helped so many other people that came, can you borrow me a space on your farm? Can you do that? Can we partner this and that? And most of them are people who are working and they want to do it part-time. And the only reason is because they want to pay off their car every month. They want to pay their bills every month. And it's a good thing, but it's not really a good idea in terms of strategy and reason why you're starting the business. Start the business because you want to, firstly, when you start, you want to get the experience, you want to learn, you want to grow. And as soon as you have mastered the project, now start growing, now start building the empire. So don't be pressurized about Spa wants this, Nando's wants this, and whoever wants this. No. As I've said, look at your neighbor. They are eating chicken. Ask them where they buy the chicken for how much. Tell them you have chicken. So we have people who come with buckets to load chickens. And the market for slaughter is also there. You make it yourself. I remember when I started, first time ever, a couple of years back, slaughtering chickens. Yes, I did a couple of mistakes, but what I did, I started already doing marketing on my Facebook way before I even started with the chickens. And I was just, testing the market. But when I slaughtered the chickens, put them up there, nice chickens, fresh, clean, beautiful, took nice pictures, put a nice page and put them out there. And when you do that, try to find a way to make it easier for your customers to get hold of your chickens. So as you do your market analysis, look at where you're going to sell and try to reach those people. If you are posting on Facebook, make your reach to reach only those people, because that's your market. And find a way to see, how do I make it easy for them to get the chicken? Not to say, my chicken is this much and you need to come and fetch it at the farm or anything like that. So when you start, look at how you can do that. So let's not be pressurized, guys. The market is huge here. Whoever supermarket is not the only one. So really, like you guys have said, let's not be lazy. Let's stand up and go and feed our people. They just need to know, where we are and if we are there and we are able to really supply. So I'm really people from getting to supply these guys. We all want to do it, and if you can do it, push on and let's do it. But like I've said earlier, and as Nomai said, the market is crazy. People are looking for chicken everywhere. Everyone wants to sell chicken. So many people that are hawkers that are going everywhere around Gauteng and every other province, collecting chickens to go and sell to their villages, to go and sell to their townships. And you can be that supplier. That can be your huge market that you supply these guys. I mean, I've got people that come and collect chickens for 70 rand, and they say it's fine. I know people who sell chicken for 90 rand in their townships, and they don't have chicken. It's like eggs, it's on high demand. So before we want to go big, let's allow ourselves to start and to build our business, establish our business, and build the business. Some other people that take some of these unreasonable contracts are doing it because they just want the money to come in. But when you look at the whole expenditure and their cash flow, they're not really making that much of money. They are just doing it to survive. They're not building a business. They're not building an empire. I'm just saying some of them. Some of us, we are doing it not because we just want to survive and pay our monthly bills. And that's a big mistake that people do when they start this business, because I've helped so many other people that came, can you borrow me a space on your farm? Can you do that? Can we partner this and that? And most of them are people who are working and they want to do it part-time. And the only reason is because they want to pay off their car every month. They want to pay their bills every month. And It's a good thing, but it's not really a good idea in terms of strategy and reason why you're starting the business. Start the business because you want to, firstly, when you start, you want to get the experience, you want to learn, you want to grow. And as soon as you have mastered the project, now start growing, now start building the empire. So don't be pressurized about Spa wants this, Nando's wants this, and whoever wants this. No. As I've said, look at your neighbor. They are eating chicken. Ask them where they buying the chicken for how much. Tell them you have chicken. So we have people who come with buckets to load chickens. And the market for slaughter is also there. You make it yourself. I remember when I started, first time ever, a couple of years back, slaughtering chickens. Yes, I did a couple of mistakes, but what I did, I started already doing marketing on my Facebook way before I even started with the chickens. And I was just, testing the market. But when I slaughtered the chickens, put them up there, nice chickens, fresh, clean, beautiful, took nice pictures, put a nice page and put them out there. And when you do that, try to find a way to make it easier for your customers to get hold of your chickens. So as you do your market analysis, look at where you're going to sell and try to reach those people. If you are posting on Facebook, make your reach to reach only those people because that's your market. And find a way to see how do I make it easy for them to get the chicken, not to say my chicken is this much and you need to come and fetch it at the farm or anything like that. So when you start, look at how you can do that. So let's not be pressurized, guys. The market is huge here. The whoever supermarket is not the only one. So really, like you guys have said, let's not be lazy. Let's stand up and go and feed our people. They just need to know, where we are and if we are there and we are able to really supply. So I'm really
Did we lose Bayanda or me?
Yeah, I think so. I thought maybe it was my network. No, I'm
Hey,
like, this
I don't
network.
trust myself now. Okay. Um, we have a couple of speakers or requests. Manana can go, and then Kane Poultry can go next. I think, guys, we've opened the floor basically now to either questions or statements
Yo,
or
Buti Buy Black must go first. Okay, his neck is
yo,
big.
yeah, Abutitogang. Abutitogang, and then Manana, then KM Poultry.
Okay. Amanda, I think what we should do is, first of all, we should invite all large scale farmers who are in here, because I know a few of them who are doing over 30,000 chickens per cycle, and I'm not sure if they are requesting. So I think what we should do, we should invite them first of all and say, guys, come and help us here, because this is what the space is about today. Come and advise us as to how can we cut cost and be able to produce a chicken like yourselves. And then I also want to say that to all the broiler farmers who are in here, um, guys, I don't know how you look at it, but many farmers in here are my friends. They are not competitors. We share information. If you are sitting there with this information that we are looking for, of being able to produce that chicken for 28 rands, please just request the mic and tell us that it is possible, you are doing it, and you don't want to be interrogated on it, and it's fine. So I last year I attended a course in Pietermaritzburg. I went there with a few farmers. I see one of the farmers is here, Mr. Roller, as well. And there in the course, there was only one large scale farmer who apparently is doing something like 460,000 chickens. Let me tell you, she is a young black lady who didn't want to talk to anyone. So this is what we come across. apparently when one starts selling those numbers, they don't talk to small scale farmers. I kid you not. We you know what? It was like some shell, you know? It was crazy. And the funny thing is there is large scale farmers on this app as well, but they don't want to engage. I think maybe the problem is they feel that we are competition or we are a threat or something like that, and maybe it's not as difficult as we think it is, and that's probably why they don't want to share information with us. I also want to caution farmers that be careful when you're talking to these people who are talking about a chicken of 28 rand, 26 rand, and so always ask them the question, please show me your farm. That's the very important question. If they can show you the farm, then it's better. And the last question I want us to dwell on. Okay, let me say second last. What we need to do, we need to ask a supply a shisanyama like Moja Chicken, and say, please show us the farmer that you are buying from at that price, because then we would also like to learn from that farmer. So that is important. We should find out where they are buying that chicken for that price. And then the last thing I want to say, guys, we are not fighting the price. We are seeking information. We also want to sell at that price. Mind you, chickens eat a lot of money. If you are a farmer, you will know. I am sitting here right now. I just parked on the side of the road. Those chickens can eat up to 2,600 rand per day, from 2,600 rand per day plus and more. And then you hear that you gotta sell a chicken for 25 rand, 28 rand. Really is not making sense. We need somebody to come here and help us make it sense. And then yeah, before I go off speaker, let everybody in the space who knows any large scale farmer try their level best to invite them to the future spaces, and contact us, Amanda, Table Shaker, Norma, myself, or even KM Poultry, and tell us that we can invite the person to come through and give us lessons. And we are ready to learn. We are not at war. Maybe our approach sometimes is not best, but we are surprised because we want to know how this is done. We want the money. Thank you very much. You can take the mic, host.
Okay, we've lost Manana, so KM Poultry and then Slindo Kushe can go after him.
Good evening, farmers, aspiring farmers, commercial or otherwise. You know, I posted on Twitter the other day that no one is coming for us. We can ask all these gurus who are in the market to come and assist us. Someone once said that it's not in their best interest to come for you. They are not looking to bring us onto this big boys table. Abuti Banda, I liked his words because in the very many mistakes that I've done was to start poultry without thinking thoroughly what it actually means about a market. I found myself having to compete with farmers, commercial farmers, by the way, for live chickens. I had clients who'd come and say, but we're getting them for 38 rand and whatnot. And I found it difficult because as a small scale farmer, it takes a lot to get to a level where you can sell your chickens at very low prices. I spoke to many distributors of feed, and all of them would tell me that you need to buy feed at 50,000 minimum just to get 5% discount. So there is a formula that is derived purely to keep us out of the running for these things. Most small scale farmers purely depend on resellers. Norma said it, Abuti Banda said it, Amanda said it, that most of your biggest client base will be resellers, and most of them are trying to maximize their profit margin. Now, if that is the case, you will have a situation where they are coming to you with all ridiculous prices that will not ever match your cost drivers from electricity and whatnot. Now, I had the opportunity to talk to Moja Chicken at some stage, and I was shocked yesterday when I discovered that there's a 28 Rand costing. When I spoke to them, I said, look, the best I can do, considering that you want a 1.8, 1.2 chicken dressed, which means I must grow it minimum 5 weeks. Anyone who can grow it to 1.8 within 4 weeks, please DM me. I would like to know that. And the best I could get, even if after considering slaughtering, was 45 Rand. And even at that stage, I was probably shaving my profit margins to 5 to 6 rands a bed. And that's not even factoring in um, transportation. I mean, once you slaughter them, you have to cool them. You can't just slaughter and drive them. You get there, they'll be all spoiled. So my question that I would have loved to pose to them, unfortunately, we're not having them online now, was that, is your price driven by your baseline? Baseline, I'm meaning, I just quickly went into their website and discovered that a full chicken, it goes for $100. So as much as you might have overheads of your shop, your laborers, your electricity, running, advertising and whatnot, it can't justify the 28 Rand. Now, T-Man by Black came in and said they were focusing purely on feed. Now, that's not a cost driver, or it's a primary cost driver for us, but it's not the only driver of our products or our output. You have labor, you have all these things that everybody has mentioned. So I just hope and wish they could get the courage to come through and then have a conversation with us so that we can learn. I understand the economies of scale. I mean, if you're talking to Kron, you're talking to all these other guys, they are on contracts for chicks. So if they are guaranteed that they are taking X amount of beds regularly, they are definitely going to get discounts. But the discounts that we are talking about now are astronomical. It is not something that is doable, particularly for small scale farmers. I've spoken to Chisanyama people, I've spoken to supermarkets, and. But it all comes back to the point that if my input cost cannot match what you are looking for, I'm not going anywhere. So it is crucial for us to then say, do we, I'm now taking a different lane on the trail track. Do we really, are we that desperate for those contracts, or we can't develop markets of our own? Awuti Banda said it. I farm within a very, I'm farming within a community that is not that well off. But I was wondering, guys, out of the chickens that I'm producing, only a few people are coming through when I did my market analysis. Then I found that people want the rupee, people want thighs. They have no time for a full chicken. It comes in probably Sunday, and then they have to cook a full chicken. But I then had to remodel my marketing strategy. I'm targeting people who want full chicken leg, but body about exercise and whatnot. So there's a need for us to remold the way we are thinking about how we offer our products to our clients. We can't all be supplying chisanyamas. In my area, there's only 4 chisanyamas, and we have plus minus 7 farmers. So we are going to compete for a market that only a few can enter into. So I would love to encourage Moja, and all these other guys. I once even spoke to Barking, it's in the townships now, red and white company. And they blew me off. The reason they blew me off, if you look at their database of service providers, I doubt that they can point to a lot of black-owned farmers, because the only people who can do some of the things are white-owned farmers. And I stand corrected. I'm willing to eat my head for for that point. But we need to come with a model that says, you as black-owned farmers, find a strategy. Let's come up with a strategy. We've been talking about bulk buying as a group of farmers on Twitter, and unfortunately, it's just a talk show. I really feel at that point. But there's a need to revisit how we do our businesses, how we buy our input products, and so forth. Until we can get to that point, Norma alone cannot do it. Buy Black alone cannot do it. Amanda alone cannot do it. We can't still be thinking the same way we thought when we entered this business. There's a need for a shake-up. Table shaker, thank you so much. Lead the other colleagues.
Thank you so much, Abuti. Makwala, guys, please come back. I keep losing some people that I think wanted to tell us how they save the cost on the production. I feel like I'm losing important people here. Guys, get your networks, come back and teach us, please. Makwala, take the mic, Abuti.
Hi, good evening, farmers. Can you guys hear me?
100%.
Okay, thanks. So, I think I've DM'd you something, Table Shake, because this week a guy posted something on Facebook saying he's looking for farmers who can supply them with chicken, and he told me that you wanna buy those chicken at 28 rand and 26 rand each. And I was like, then I'm fine with that one. So these people who say they sell they produce chicken for 28 rand. The last time I produced my chicken around 20, we know it was not 20 rand, I think it was around 10 rand each. It's when I got free feed from the government. That's when I produced my chicken less than 20 rand. When I buy feeds and I buy everything on my own, there's no way, guys. There's no way you wanna end up at less than 20 rand. No, that one is not possible. But yeah. So people must tell us the truth when they say they're producing less than they're producing at a cost of less than 20 or 30 rand. They're getting free feed from the government. I got those feed last year, so I know what they're talking about. They must tell the truth. They must not come here and hide and say no. This is doable. No, it's not, guys. It's not. Thanks.
They actually went to edit from the 26 rands inclusive of VAT. Then they went back and said 30 rands inclusive of VAT. Yeah, and they said there's no way that he actually responded and said there's no way that I would spend more than 30 bucks per chicken, not per kilogram, per chicken. But this Lindo, I was child, do you grow your own feed? Do you have fertile eggs? Do you hatch your own chicks? Is that how you achieve 20 rands per chicken?
Hi guys, ngicela ukuzi-introduce kuqala. My name is Lindokuhle Chabalala and I am the managing director at Poultry Farming. So we are going to be a hatchery facility that's going to supply you guys with day-old chicks. So in terms of pricing, guys, I think we need to look at the bigger picture, how the market is actually and who owns the market. These corporate companies own the entire supply chain. That's why they can manipulate the price, Ganja. They own everything from the genetics company, the feed company, the hatchery, everything, packaging, yonkinto. And then they eliminate the profit margins from each up until the last place, which is the abattoir, which they also own. And then that's where they get to Leo 20 something rand, 30 rand. A good example would be Astral. It's a huge corporate company, food. They own Ross. We all use Ross Grill 8 here. raw South Africa, I mean. So they banalo power there. They own National Chicks, the biggest hatchery. They own Meadow Feeds, the biggest feed company. They own large abattoirs. They own large broiler farms like your Goldie and so on and so forth. So all of these things, once you own the entire supply chain, you basically have a huge advantage in the market on its own. So I think that's why the price lay is lapho. And it becomes very difficult for us small medium size farmers ukufika kuleyo margin le bafuna ukuthi sifike kuyo, you know. And the big boys laba bangafuna ukuza lana, they are somehow affiliated to these corporate companies because when it's time for them to head to the abattoir, they get it next to nothing. National Chicks, they get it next to nothing. The feed, massive discounts because they are able to buy tons and tons of feed because they are growing 50 to 100,000 chickens in a cycle. You know, that also counts, guys. The more you grow chickens, the lesser it becomes for.
Did we lose him?
I was about to ask. I think so, and I actually wanted to ask him quickly because I think just to just add on a little bit here, or maybe just provide some clarity, at least from my side, right? This I understand the scalability part and owning the value chain, but I think we're sitting with small small scale, small to medium scale farmers that want to know how some other small or medium scale farmers are supplying Moja chicken, for example. Now I really want to talk to his short list, not for shade, not for anything, but I want to know those black farmers that are now shortlisted and supplying those people. How are you doing it? Because I understand the scalability part. We understand the buying in bulk that attracts discounts, owning the value chain. But as I own the value chain, we don't have hatcheries for now. We don't have, we don't own national chicks or anything like that for now. But those ones that are doing it, please come and tell us.
I just can't search on the timeline, but someone actually tagged them. I think they part of it. If you guys are in the space, please show yourself, guys. We know we're laughing, but that's how we are. That's how we laugh at our pain because ngempela nje siyasha. It's very bad. It's not nice. But Bayanda, did you have something that you wanted to say? And then Makwala can come after you.
Yes, thank you very much. No, I really agree. My brother Bayam Black also mentioned, Uti, ask the people who are those farmers. You'll find that most of the time, I also had a white guy who came, was looking for very small baby chickens, and still, I couldn't supply the guy because it was just, it didn't make sense at all. So some of these guys, they don't even know those farmers. So they're going to pressurize you and tell you that, no, we are getting this from farmers, we're getting this from farmers. They don't even know those kind of farmers because some of them, they buy at certain, big shops or supermarkets where they buy these things packaged in bulk. And that's how they actually work out the price because he buys a big box with 20 chickens and for whatever amount, then he makes his calculations with, okay, he bought one chicken for this much. So as Unoma said, we are looking for those small farmers who are actually doing it. Then we can talk. But also so ask who are those farmers, where are they, and how do they do that? How big or how small are they? And you will be shocked. Even the ones that are shortlisted, I doubt they are small scale black farmers. Not to be funny, but let's give them a chance. Maybe if they come back, we'll have another space and we'll sit down and listen and really learn so that we can also grow. What Uslindile said, what I caught from that probably maybe we should look at as broiler farmers is see how we can expand our business in terms of having them ama hatcheries and everyone else who's planning to establish ama hatcheries and see how we can work together. If I have space on my farm, also farm on the side ama parent stocks, buy parent stock and be able to come with a deal, noma if une hatchery and say, I'm supplying you ama fertile eggs, and how much are you giving me ama chicks back, or supply anyone else. I do have a company that is doing a joint venture where you buy parent stock from them and they buy the eggs from you. And with about, I think, 500 of those chickens, you make about 12,000 a month whatsoever. I'm still doing those calculations. So if you are actually getting money out of buying a fertile egg, see how you can, bring that in your broiler business. So let's see and find ways, as much as we, also looking at getting your own market that can buy at your price, expand our business also on the other side in supplying a fertile egg. That can actually, I believe it can, bring down a bit of pressure on our side and the pain that we are feeling, because now we'll be also taking advantage of the demand of our chicks as we are having these problems. And everyone is establishing our hatcheries, but how many people are establishing our parent stock? So let's look at that as well and see how we can expand our businesses. I think it's a very interesting one that we can also, look at and see how we can work around that. But I wanted to ask a question lastly. If anyone knows of a chicken butchery, or how many chicken butcheries you know of in your area, because years back I stayed in a small town, Forgeville, and there was a chicken shop. It was the only chicken shop in town, and that shop was busy 24/7. That shop was always full. Either bantu bayothenga amawutwana, hearts, gizzards, and all that. If you want full chicken, you buy there. How many shops do you know in your area that is doing that? And why are we not starting that? Why are we not doing that? From as simple as buying a freezer and start doing that. But when you've already also done your market analysis, I have a lot of people who are buying mautonas are on demand, gizzards are on demand. We have so many farmers right now in the space. Others have started, others want to start, but how many gizzards do you have right now in stock if people want them? So let's look at how we can actually get into that market and make more money for ourselves. I know some of us, we sell those things to make up, for some of our costs in our in our business. But let's see how we can also expand that in terms of establish, a small shop somewhere in your area. A lot of places that are empty, that are no longer working because South African black shops have actually collapsed, but people still need to eat. Let's open those small shops and see how we can, when you have started supplying people, maybe from households, and then you start opening a small shop. I'm telling you, those shops, wherever I've come across, with which are very rare. I remember that one I used to stay in Forgeville. That shop was always busy because it was the only shop that was selling amautwana, amakizat, amahats, anything chicken fresh that was available 24/7. So guys, the market is vast. The opportunities are there. Let's grab a hold of them and leave those ones who can be able to, until maybe we get it and we are actually in that level where we can do that. But I'm so excited. People need to eat. Let's feed them and stop murmuring and stressing ourselves and being frustrated, with things that we can't change as yet. We need to be sharks and eat. The business is there, the business is vast. So as we have advised, most of us encouraging people, guys, start, yes, but before you start, do your homework. Don't be too excited about starting poultry when you've not done your homework. Thank you very much.
And we also can't tell you guys how to start, guys. Yo, stop asking us.
I actually feel like I'm new in poultry again after Uput Bayanda spoke. Uh, I'm more hungry for, for more, to actually go out there and break boundaries and just, kill it. But before I pass the mic to Makwala and CR Mabizela, we have actually started um with regards to trying to, actually not trying, because we are going to do it. We are venturing into buying parent stock. with a couple of farmers from Twitter, and we have a WhatsApp group with a couple of people. I think we can still take 10 more people if they're interested. We are contributing 1,000 rands every month. Ngenile. If you ngena and you want to leave, you are not getting your money back. We are going to basically be placing our parent stock in August. The wheel is basically already moving. We're starting with our first contributions now, end of Jan. So yes, we complain a lot, but we do sit down and try to find solutions and actually act on them. So yeah, guys, if there's like other people, we can take 10 more people. Like I said, 1,000 rands every month. We deposit it into FNB. We will register a company um by March, and we're basically going to be building a house and start with 500 parent stock, and that is going to grow. We might end up getting more if we do get to the 60 people more that I would be adding. So yeah, guys, yeah, you can Tinta Mina, Tinta Noma, Tinta Buy Black if you guys are interested in that. Abuti Buy Black, I think I'll give you the mic before I give Umakwala.
Thank you very much, my sister. Tell me, is it possible that on my space you can give Mr. CR Mabitsela an opportunity to talk? I wanted to say something about slaughtering chickens, but I'll come back later. Thank you very much.
Okay, Abuti CR, you can take the mic. Take it away, Abuti.
Evening, everyone. Thank you for the space. I'm going to be talking as someone Olongore has participated, have been part of an organization that participated in the commercial side of poultry production. I saw Buy Black talking about this a few days ago with the issue the Moja Cafe, and I commented on how is it possible to come to that cost, which is possible. And I can vouch for that because I have experienced it and participated in it for almost 3 years. And unfortunately, I received inboxes and comments which I bit condescending and discouraging, and I opted not to reply to such people with such energies. But anyway, so how we, the family business, participated in the commercial side of poultry production is that we have on our farm in Mokopane, Limpopo, we have 9 houses. 8 are the manual houses, which takes up to 1,500 chickens each. And then we have one that takes up 45,000 chickens per cycle. Now, this is an automated, environmentally controlled house. So we were fortunate for a period of about 3 years, we had a contract with one of these guys who have a big farm. I think they have a capacity of about 250,000 chickens on their farm, and they have an abattoir of about 450,000 slaughtering chickens per 24 hours. So they would contract farmers babang just to boost their numbers and to keep their their abattoir fully occupied, and they're still supplying people like Bupic and Payable Macro. Those are some of the few customers of theirs that I know. So like one of the speakers said earlier, when you have the numbers, you can make certain demands to the suppliers. I'm going to talk you through the numbers looking at one of the last cycle reports, because unfortunately we had to exit that part of the business because of the relationship was getting very sour with our customer, and the money as well didn't make sense anymore. So the family took a decision to exit this commercial part of the business. Our last cycle we harvested December 2020. Although the numbers might be a bit outdated, I just want to illustrate how possible is it to get to a 20-something rands cost. So, for example, we got our chicks on account, everything we bought on account, and then after we harvest and the customer pays us, we would then pay our suppliers for what they had supplied for the cycle A if we're dealing. So we'd get our chicks from, there is a hatchery in Port Elizabeth. It's called Stoner. These guys, the report that I'm looking at, the cycle report I'm looking at, which is a November 2020 report, we bought 44,000 chicks at 212,000 rands. So if you do your maths, it will bring you to around 480 a chick, if I'm not mistaken. Now, it's a problem if you're a small scale or medium scale farmer to try and place an order through these guys. Because number one, there's red tape, so we got in through our customer. And that's how we got the rate. For around 480 a chick. But your minimum order quantity per order has to be 35,000 chicks. So that's why I'm saying, number one, you'll have a problem to get in because of red tape. Number two, what's bang. Number three, your minimum order quantity. So that's that with the chicks. And then on the feed, per cycle, every cycle we bought feed from NutriFeed. So we have silos built outside the chicken house, which they would come with a truck and then weigh the food directly into the silos. So it's not bags. So you're doing away with the packaging cost already. And we'll place an order. They would prepare the feed during the day, from the morning, produce the feed, and then at night they will deliver. Actually, when they offload the food, the feed would actually still be warm because it was processed on that day. That's how they supply to these big farmers. So we had ordered feed that in total, starter, grower, and finisher, 130 tons. And then it all comes to, on this report, it had cost us around 666,000 rands and some cents. Then you have your vaccination, the stress pack and all of those. It comes to those we bought from a local vet, which got them for us in bulk, 10,500 rands. And then you have the other overheads, which is the guys who would come and clean the house, wash it, disinfect, salaries, maintenance, and that comes to around 125,000. So on the feed and chicks alone, you are definitely looking at around 20 rands a chicken at 5 weeks at a weight of about 1.9 kilograms. And at that time, if I'm not mistaken, I don't have that in the report that I'm looking at now. At that time, our customer was giving us around 16 rands a kilogram. So if you're looking at 1.9 to 2 kilograms a chicken, of course, we sell them based on weight, not how many chickens. And considering mortality, perhaps out of 4,000, 5,000 chickens, you lost plus minus 3,000 to 4,000 chickens. You're looking at about a decent number, about 1.3 million rands that they would pay you. And then you have to pay back everyone there. So you end up with a pretty penny at the end of the day. So it's all about the scale. How big do you go? So with the other 8 smaller houses that we have, the manual houses, we are unable to participate in that market because the numbers do not justify the orders. So we still continue with the manual houses, selling to the resellers, Bakokasi, Liko devillaging, and the margins are significantly different compared to the commercial side. The margins on the commercial side are very narrow, but then the numbers make up for it. But then on the other side, where we're supplying resellers, the margins are significantly high, but then you're not making as much as on the commercial side because of the numbers you're pushing per cycle. So on that side, we're only selling plus minus 1,000 to 2,000 chickens per month. So to say and dismiss the fact that it's possible to get a chicken at under 30 rands, I don't know what the prices are now, because like I said at the beginning, I'm talking to a cycle report from December 2020. I know what prices have went up, but then to say that you can't get under 30 rand, it is wrong and it's a misrepresentation. It's possible depending on the numbers and the kind of operation you have. So as a small scale farmer, Lerina, we are struggling to get the costs low with our manual houses. We're struggling big time. I haven't done the numbers in a while because I'm no longer on the farm full time. My mom is alone in the business now. But then I'll do a homework, and should there be a space next time, I'll come back and tell you what are we paying now versus years ago. That's all I wanted to contribute. Thank you.
Wow. Okay. Thank you so much, Abuti, for sharing that information. So it goes back to show that actually the offer was not for us. I did want to say perhaps these guys need to contact Daybreak, because I remember once upon a time Anglo American took out a tender or a request to tender. Matsidi, so please mute your microphone. They requested that people send through quotations if they want to supply. They would usually give one employee 3 boxes that had 10 chickens inside in December. I sent my quote knowing very well that your prices are actually high, you're not gonna get it. But I took a chance anyway. And actually Daybreak got it, because I mean their prices are low, because they do high scale and we're not there. So it was not our opportunity, it was an opportunity for somebody else. Akuna muntu omnyama ophakamayo la, we must just sit our asses down. By Black, Abuti, your hand is still up.
Yes. Yes. I have a question for Abuti Mabitsela, my brother. Thank you very much for joining us. And also I appreciate you because when I started in this broiler farming business, you are the first farmer who came in my DMs, go Twitter, and told me what to do and what to look out for. Thank you very much, my brother. You've always been there. You're not one of those people who run away. So what I wanted to say to make clear is that you said that you are able to produce a chicken in the vicinity of 20 rands. However, you haven't mentioned anything about processing, because the specification there says that they want a processed chicken delivered. And now, my brother, you've explained that yes, you can produce a chicken in the vicinity of 20 rands. Now, on that 20 rands, you add 10 rands for processing. You're already sitting at 30 rands. What profit are you making? Because they want to buy it from the farmer at the cost of 28 rands. Let's pass there. And one other thing I would like to do, my brother, I'd like to apologize to you on behalf of the many people who are attacking you without knowing you, because I know you and I know Hore. You do give information when asked for. And thank you very much also for joining us. If you can just tell us about the processing part, how are you doing that? Because you've already mentioned that you would raise a chicken in the vicinity of 20 rands or so. But what about the processing? Because the processing is already sitting at 10 rands right now. So that puts my chicken at 30 rands. And then they say it must be delivered. So now I'm adding the delivery cost already. When it gets to Moja chicken, it's already costing over 38 rands. That is basically what we are saying. Yeah, if you can answer the processing part only, and then we can move back to the host. Thank you very much.
Um, okay, my apologies for not touching on that. So, Rina, our contract ends at harvesting, whereby this customer would come with 4 trucks and a team of about 20 people throughout the night. They catch the chickens into crates, into the trucks, and off they go. They had their own abattoir. Like I said, they were processing 450,000 chickens every 24 hours. So the 20 rands I'm talking about, it's only the growing, for the growing contract. But then I know, because I was close to
It's not me. Okay, so I think Abuti was kicked out. Let me invite him to go on again. And actually, Abuti by Black, with regards to that question that you asked him about the processing, he actually said in the 20 bucks, he didn't include overheads like the salaries. And that was in 2019. Now it's 2022. So, I mean, it's possible, but that was still Abuti CR Mabitela. He said he didn't include the 120,000 rands of salaries whereby people come in to come and clean, disinfect, and all of that. So that is still not included. So, honestly, like I said, after reading the responses from Moja Love, and how they actually went and deleted one of their tweets. They're very condescending, by the way. They called one guy Bafanas, what, Indelelo nje, into, people always say that on Twitter. You will find people that will be dragging a doctor who went to medical school for 7 years when Bona they read their information from Dr. Google, and then they will drag that doctor. So basically, we need to remember such things. Uguti, here on Twitter, some people are farming from Google as well. Okay. So, Norma, yes, you can go. Makwala is like people are being kicked out, guys. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm trying to. May I please give McDonald Munakamwe a chance to speak? Hello, sir.
Hey guys, how are you? Thank you for the opportunity. I'm not a chicken farm, but I'm in this farming space, and we are learning every day. So I think people have raised a couple of comments here. I know Sinoma has raised it. Uh, is it only open for chicken farmers only?
Well, we're talking chicken today, not any other farming.
Yeah, but okay. So okay, maybe so it's fine. Maybe not fine, because I am just trying to to say we should look at these things from a bigger picture point of view. But if it's not relevant, then so be it. It's fine. Happy to just listen.
No, yeah, yeah, no, I think maybe next
Ah,
time.
no, that's fine. Thank you.
Makwala?
Alright. Hey, I see people are busy DMing me about when I said got feed from the government. So I see now my DM is busy. I get a lot of people asking.
Give us the plug.
Hey,
It was
connect
the
us,
Pessy
Baba.
voucher, guys. It's just Pessy.
Connect us, Baba. Connect
Give
us.
us the
Help.
plug. We want free feed also, please.
Okay, I think
So
we lost
guys,
Makwala
I'm not
again.
getting the feed anymore. The feed once. So it was a farmer support opportunity came out in 2020. So stop DMing me and asking me how I got the feed. Because now I see I have a lot of DMs now. People wanna know. I know people we love free things, I know guys, but I only got those feed in 20 last year, yeah, 2021, but I applied in 2020. So last year the farmer support came out again, but now the requirement were different from 2020, so I couldn't get in. So guys, I'm not getting a free feed anymore. I'm on the same level with you guys. The cost is too much for me too. So please ask me something else on my DMs. Don't ask about the free feed that I got. Thanks.
Sorry, Amanda. I wanted to actually just when I put my hand up to speak to what Obuti CR was saying, like, and I'm so sorry that farmers attacked you, and I think the like the attacks come from a very good place, and I'm really sorry for them being condescending and stuff like that, but sorry to be the devil's advocate or to literally say it, that guys, I don't believe we can produce, like, especially us, right? Even at, like you mentioned, at commercial level, that's before you mention the processing. Like, Obutsukhang actually said that Mojo Chicken wants the chickens delivered and processed. So the spec that we were speaking to and what you spoke to, like, I think that's why people were saying, but it's impossible because of the other costs that were also involved that make it impossible to actually produce a chicken at 20 rand. So that's what I think that's where I'm at, you know. After the whole space, I'm making a conclusion that, guys, Mina, Vele, I'm going to stick by saying it is impossible. I am so sorry that it hurts some people, or I look short, short sighted. I don't want to look at the bigger picture to supply Nando's and all of that. But mina ngizothengisela ubaba uSibindi lapha eThembisa, who's going to buy my chickens for 60 rand, 65 rand, until I can open my own butchery, until I can, supply, own the value chain. Like you said, Amanda mentioned, we are working on things like parent stock, on owning as much of the value chain as possible. So I am just going to, like, stop here for now, just to say, mina angikholwa nje leyo nto, ayikho.
We can disagree respectfully, guys. Let's not be condescending. Mina exercise the block button. Whether you're a farmer, whether you're a runner, whether you, I basically Willistium of high regard. It's farmers, it's runners. And the moment I see that you are not a pleasant person, I block you. So let's disagree in a very respectful way. If you don't understand something, seek clarity. Don't disrespect other people. Mr. Zazo, and then I think CR can continue where he got kicked out from.
Please don't. Yeah, because, yeah. to whatever scale that we're doing it at, but maybe can we probably, for as a suggestion for the next space, or whatever space we have around this topic, to actually say how can we work together to actually go for those, scale up our productions and actually get there. We might never get to Norma, to your point. We might never get to below 28 rand per bed production cost, but we might get from 35 or whatever our production cost is, 42 to 32, which will still put some more money in our pockets if we're still selling it at whatever price we're selling it now. So my suggestion is, I guess, for the next space, or Tebosheka and Norma, you can, and Buy Black, you can decide when to have that discussion. But I think what might really help is for us to discuss strategies of how we can actually scale up our operations, because I can tell you now that if we carry on producing as small scale farmers, right, we'll still be at the mercy of the market. We might be able to sell our stock now, but there will come a point when as more and more big commercial players enter the market, we will actually lose competitiveness. And I actually think there are people who are actually eyeing that township economy to actually say how do they penetrate it and actually sell directly to the township economy, just like we sell. We can go and put our chickens on a street corner and start selling from there. There are at a lower cost than we are now. What are the things that we need to be doing? And maybe part of it is actually saying Norma and Table Shaker work together, and rather than Table Shaker you produce 5,000, Norma produces 5,000. If you put your resources together, maybe you can actually produce 15,000 chickens, and already you've got better economies of scale. So maybe that's what I'd make as a suggestion, to say let's try and do that next time. Thanks.
Abuti, Buy Black, you can go.
Okay, thank you. I think because my brother is back, Mabitela, we need to iron out this question of processing, because very important, before we do anything, we must understand that 10 rand is going to processing. So here, we're actually not talking about raising a chicken for under 20 rands because of the processing cost. And when I'm talking about processing, I like what my brother Bayanda said when he said that you can open those butcheries and you can sell meat to your village. Last year, I attended a course at KZN Poultry Institution. Guys, when you start going into the field of selling processed chicken, you're stepping into something else because you need to process your chicken at a registered abattoir for many reasons. I don't know if I should mention that, but there is okay. I'm still audible. All right. My phone was just acting up. So you can't just wake up one day and start slaughtering over 100 chickens a day and you go and sell there. That's illegal, guys. So even your contract farmers who want a processed chicken, it has to be processed by a registered abattoir. There needs to be so-called meat inspectors and so forth who must then say that this chicken is good for consumption. So perhaps when we're talking about raising a chicken for 20 rand, we should then actually from that 28 rand subtract 10 rands and say they're looking for a chicken for 18 rand because it's processed and delivered. Let's not forget that. Very, very important, guys. We That's why I asked my brother that please explain the processing part because you've already explained that you were able to raise a chicken in the vicinity of 20 rands. Since you're putting it in the vicinity of 20 rands, then I will say you are raising it for 20 rands. Now, how much were you processing it for? Thank you very much.
Can I go, table checker?
Yes, yes, Abuti, you can go.
Sorry, I don't know what in Katilika network earlier. So what I was saying,
You did mention that your contractors were processing the chicken themselves.
yes. So these guys have an abattoir capacity of 450,000 chickens every 24 hours. So they process themselves. So, but then the insider information I got from some of the managers that I had a close relations with, they said they are processing between 3 and 4 rands a chicken at those volumes, of course, of 450,000 chickens a day when it's fully running at full steam.
Yo,
But
guys,
I
is the
know of an abattoir.
silence just on my side?
Yeah, yes,
You
Mama, we
can
can
hear
hear
me.
you.
Am I audible?
Yes, 100% Abuti, you can go on.
Okay, so I was saying, I know of an abattoir in Bela Bela. Those guys, they have a capacity of 1,000 chickens a day, and they slaughter for 6 rand per chicken. So they slaughter, package, and chill it for you. You just have to transport it there and collect it from them. That's as far as I know about processing. Unfortunately, we have never been involved in processing for customers. Our processing is to slaughter 2, 3 chickens, and go, and someone asks for an order of 2, 3 slaughtered chickens. So yes, I agree with you. When I buy Black Hore, the price that's being offered by Moja Chicken for small scale farmers, it is definitely not possible. And also for commercial farmers as well, I believe it might not be feasible. I wonder, Lenawar, where does he get his slaughtered chickens that he's been buying all these years when running his operations? So yeah, that's all I have to say. Thanks.
Can Put Bayanda go Abuti by Black and then you can go after him?
No problem. Thank you very much. Um, how's Ayana?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to mention, I'm going to step down now. I just wanted to mention that now, based on the price that Mr. Mabitela has given us, we can clearly say that we're sitting at 26 rands and the people wanted 28 rands. So, which means now you're left with 2 rands to deliver your chicken and pay salaries. Thank you.
But remember, he didn't include overheads. Remember that. There was no labor cost that is included. I'm right, Akere Abuti SR Mabitela. You said that cost of $20. didn't include the 120,000 that you paid laborers.
It actually does include the overheads. I did mention cleaning of the that chicken house, petrol, diesel for the generator, repairs, and excluding electricity. We were paying around 15 to 18,000 rands a month on electricity because of that house.
So the price, the 20 rands price excludes electricity.
Yes, includes everything but electricity.
Okay.
Even transport to the abattoir included.
Okay. So basically, guys, you will still include electricity, and that was in 2019, by the way. Feed costs have gone up now. And to transport the chicken to City Deep, specifically from your farm wherever in Gauteng to City Deep in Joburg, in a cool those refrigerator cars from the abattoir. Yeah, let's do the maths. Bayanda.
Thank you. I just had a similar follow-up question on how much, if maybe Brother CR can share, were they actually now selling a chicken for? How much were they selling a chicken for, as if they raise it for 20 rand?
I think you might have missed that part. We were billing around 16 rands. I think it was 16 rands 30 per kilogram to our customer.
Yeah, guys, economies of scale. That's where it's at, because then, I mean, the profit per chicken is not a lot, but because the numbers were quite high, it went all the way up there. Abuti Meso, good evening. Meso, are you still there or Sulele? Kgaogelo. Are we forgetting our handles? Okay.
To the members up here. Okay, guys, I'm not really a chicken farmer. I'm more a cattle farmer. But I just want to inquire a few things. I arrived a bit late. I'm sure you guys probably covered this. But just to humor me for a few minutes here. So I just want to know, at what level does one consider himself a commercial chicken producer? Because I know with cattle, we need to reach a certain quarter, then you can say I'm actually now commercially farming. Maybe let's say you're reaching 50 to 100 heads of cattle. So at what level do you guys target to actually say now I'm big enough or I have the capacity to actually start supplying the retailers and so forth? And then the second question would be, well, how's the South African chicken industry? Because last I was reading, I heard one of your biggest poultry houses, Rainbow Chicken, was shutting down. So I haven't really been following that up. So I just love to inquire from the chicken farmers here, how is that going? Because is it still stable? Because I know many of your chickens, chicken meat and so forth, is ending up in my country. It's actually flooding the market here, killing off our local chicken producers. But yeah, that's for now. That's what I'd love to just inquire from you guys, if I may.
Welcome to the club. We're also killed by Brazil. So we're gonna come kill you guys. I'm playing. Okay, so I think I'll answer the first question and then somebody else can take the other one. Small scale commercial is 10,000 chickens. That's small scale commercial. So that's entry level, 10,000 chickens per cycle. That's basically that. I don't know who would like to take the other question. I think By Black can take it.
How's Amanda?
Yes, Abuti.
I was hearing in bits and pieces. Do you mind reiterating the question if possible?
So he's asking how's the chicken market in South Africa because he read that Rainbow Chicken is closing down.
Oh,
So
okay.
how come we're still flooding their country
Yes.
with the chicken? How are we
Okay.
doing it?
So, based on what I've read, obviously, different farmers will have different experiences. We're being killed by imports. That's the first thing. I didn't want to mention this because we're still dealing with the local problem. There's a bigger problem, guys. I saw a full chicken uh, somewhere for 12 rands. You won't believe it, in a shop. It was sitting there and was for sale. It was a full chicken. So we're dealing with dumping as well, where chickens are not feed for consumption in certain countries, and they are feed for consumption in our country because we are a litter bin. They're supposed to be disposed of, but because they're supposed to be disposed of at a cost as far as environmental impact is concerned, South Africa goes there with open hands and says, we are a waste facility. You can dispose of those chickens here. And then that is why guys like Rainbow Chicken ends up being affected, because there is no way that Rainbow Chicken would be affected if it was only competing with local farmers. It is getting affected by the chicken that you will find Comacro if you go there tomorrow. It's in a bit of a blue like plastic or something like that. It costs very less, and I hear that it tastes something like rubber or plastic, something along those lines. So that is basically what's happening. And then if I was to talk about my market, I'm at the farm right now. Thank God, a farmer just left with a bunch of chickens. So our market is, there are people who are awakened, people who are aware, people who don't want to eat rubbish, and those are our market. Because as I always say, as a black person, I wouldn't feed you something that I wouldn't eat. But if you're gonna eat something that comes from somebody who doesn't recognize you as a human being, you can be sure that you're gonna be eating plastic or rubber. So that's basically what is happening. I'm not sure if I'm doing justice to the question, but you can ask it again if you feel that I haven't done justice to it. I'm pretty sure that I can look at it from another angle. Thank you.
Yes, YouTuber.
Just call me Induna rather than calling me YouTube because I get confused. But yeah, okay. Again to the chicken expert. Um, so you guys are saying you're experiencing the, what do you call this? The dumping of the chicken, like your imports from Brazil and so forth. Aren't there any policies put in place to protect the local South African market? Because when we speak of agri policies, South Africa is literally the, how do I say, it's the Model C student, because you guys have very good agri policies that are protecting you from outside imports, while ourselves here, we still have a problem of getting that in place. Because I recall not so long ago, I don't know, what was I reading? I was reading an article. I read so many articles online that you guys were talking about the Brazilian situation, and you're trying to cancel that. While here in my country, we were finding ourselves importing chicken both from your country and from Poland. So, what is the agricultural policy concerning protecting the market? In this case, you guys as the chicken producers. As I said, I'm more into the large stock, so I wouldn't really understand the chicken industry that well because I'm not really a fan of chickens. But yeah, maybe you can just enlighten me there on that one, please.
CR Mabitela Abuti, would you like to take this one?
No, I'll pass on this one. Thank you.
Okay. Bye, Black.
Okay, so our problem here is an organization called Black Emerging Black Importers and Exporters, led by a very beautiful lady called Unati Spears. She's an Unati with an African name and Spears with a European surname. She also got funding from what you call IDs, is it Industrial Development Corporation. So that lady is fighting for imports into the country. She fights South African Poultry Association. She insists that poultry will be very expensive if we do not import it from Brazil. So you can go on YouTube and watch the video. She's got a lot of funny points and she's very loud on these points. And that is basically our problem here is somebody is being paid to look the other way. That is where our problem is. We have capacity. The lady, Unati, is arguing
Hi
that black
everyone.
farmers do not have.
I
Go on, Abuti, sorry.
Okay, so one of the arguments, Taha Unati, is that blacks farmers do not have capacity to meet the demand South Africa poultry, which is funny because this person got funding from IDC to actually she's importing. So I don't even understand how does a person get funding from IDC and continues to import chicken. So her argument is that us small scale farmers, particularly black farmers, we don't have capacity to supply the demand here South Africa, and by so doing they are killing little rainbow chickens and they are killing everybody else, and that is why at some stage your likes of rainbow chicken was retrenching and so forth. Yeah, that's the short answer to it. We can actually go more into detail, but I'll stop there. Thank you.
Okay. Sisi Mapate, you can go now. I know that during Barack Obama's time, South Africa tried to block the dump chicken into SA from happening, and Barack actually threatened South Africa with certain sanctions. So we are also recipients of certain things, and they really do mess up our market, unfortunately. But yeah, Namibia, we want to come there and sell you guys chicken in the next 2 years as well. Sisi, you can go on now. I hope your network will allow you.
That are actually protecting us from dumped chicken. We are also going to dump on you guys because we can't just be suffering. We don't, sorry, our government doesn't really do a very good job at protecting black farmers in South Africa. And like Amanda even mentioned, in other countries, farmers are like gold. Yeah, I lana kudlaliwe ngathi, guys. I'm so sorry if anyone is from the department, but guys,
You can please go, and then my Nduna from Nam can come after you.
Yeah, going back to the core of the space and the conversation, it's a great thing where you guys want to start having your own parent stock to be able to have your fertilized eggs. I think that's a good start. The other thing that could be done, but then this is more of a collaborative approach, just like your parent stock. It's something that I learned from a guy I spoke to a few years ago. He's also based in Limpopo, in an area called Luahom. This guy, he orders every cycle. He orders about 17,000 chicks, and he only has a capacity of 2,000. So he has turned himself into a distributor. So because of the numbers he's ordering, he finds himself having a very low input cost. So it's not only the chicks that he buys volume, it's also the feed. So you would have someone coming to him buying 2,000 chicks and feed for the entire cycle. And he stocks from people like Boo Afgri, Boo NutriFeed, and that's how he gets his own costs down. So if people were to approach it like the Somalian spaza shop owners do, whereby they place one order, yeah, Coca-Cola. Well, I know some people make their own Coca-Cola, but place a huge order of Coca-Cola and then distribute amongst the spaza shops, because that's what the Somalians do as well in our area where the farm is. They would come to the farm, place an order, a huge order for tomatoes, knowing what they would get a discount, and then they share amongst themselves and sell. So that's how farmers could get their prices lower. So look into coming together and buying pallets of starter, pallets of grower pallets of finisher instead of buying 20 bags of starter alone. So if you're buying directly from a supplier, I once approached, I don't know if I'm pronouncing the name correctly. It's Bagomu Dimule Dihes. I once approached them and they gave me quotes based on bulk stock. And I think there was a difference of about 20%. And at that time, we were talking to someone to supply weekly chickens for halal from our manual houses. But then the deal collapsed just before we started. But then we were going to see a 20% saving because we were going to buy something like 80 bags of starter at a go. And I think we were looking at about 140 of growers, so on and so forth. So if people were to club and then purchase their feed like that in groups, definitely you will be taking some percentage off your input costs. So that's what I'd like to put as a suggestion.
Thank you so much, Abuti. That is a great suggestion that we would look into. I mean, we've tried, but the distances between our farms is what would kill us, because then at the end of the day we end up spending that money that we saved on transportation costs. But I think, like what Zazo Burgoats said, instead of working on my farm and Buy Black works on his farm, how about we go to the person that actually has more land and work together on that farm? That way, buying feed less would actually be more achievable than if I bought for my farm and they bought for their farm. I think, just to avoid having an extremely long space as well, I would just like to also mention that on Thursday, this is like Christmas type of vibe, because there's just so many things that we're having. But on Thursday, we're having another space. It's still poultry spaces, but specifically on feed production.